What's up, everybody? I'm Bolio, and I decided to do something a little different today. Um, I'm usually so, you know, like blah blah blah, yada yada. And today I decided to do some, just some more like ranty type stuff. And this is specifically with a problem I've been having with modern Five Nights at Freddy's. Um, and it's the sci-fi shit. The franchise is like not even like right now, but like some of the more important games to the franchise, like Sister Location's a good example, Help Wanted is a good example. Um, Even fucking Security Breach is an example of this, but they have such a huge fucking sci-fi emphasis, and it's so bad. I don't like it at all. Some of the stuff that made the original games so appealing was like not even that they're grounded, but kind of the like relatability of the horror, you know? Like a lot of people, especially at least I think especially in America, grew up going to like Chuck E. Cheese for birthday parties or stuff like that. Or like Showbiz Pizza, like that sort of stuff. Granted, Showbiz is a teensy bit before my time, but like that's a relatable experience that a lot of people have. And like even outside of the animatronics, the restaurant aesthetic is very relatable, you know? Like people feel that, and it's part of what makes the older games so scary is that, or not even just scary, but something that makes the older games have such good atmosphere is that, oh yeah, I've been to a restaurant. I know what restaurants are like, and it's scary to see it demented in such a dark, like, supernatural way. Like, that's fun. That's scary, you know? It adds a lot to the environment of the first games. And then when fucking Sister Location hits, and this is another one of the reasons that it's my least favorite game in the franchise, it got so sci-fi. And like not even a little sci-fi. It got so sci-fi. Like everything was fucking like buttons and panels and dials here and there, like fucking random ass keypads that don't do anything. Like you're not in a restaurant. You're not even really in a rental business. You're in a testing facility. Like even with how the fucking controlled shocks are, like the just everything about that and the animatronics very clearly having so much more sentience and ability than the other ones because the animatronics themselves are so much more highly advanced. They're like practically indiscernible from fucking robots. Like they're not even animatronics, they're like actual full-blown robots. And I think that just takes away so much from what makes FNaF so good, like especially in the earlier games, because that's not there. The games aren't so sci-fi, they're a lot more supernatural in their horror. And I think that's part of what made them so good is that supernatural turn rather than the really weird sci-fi turn. Like I thought it was super odd to make like the main antagonist of the franchise essentially like obsessed with this immortality that you would get from the possessions of the animatronics. And it's like, on one hand, think that's a cool idea in theory to take William that way, but in practice, it undoes the poeticism of FNAF 3 and what made FNAF 3 such a good ending point for the franchise originally. Is that William got exactly what he did to the children. He got locked in this perpetual infinite torment of like pain and being locked in a building cursed to roam the halls for decades on ends. Like that was a poetic end to his story. It was great, like not like it was great to see him get his comeuppance, but it was like haunting in a good way to see his poetic comeuppance. And then they kind of undo that with Sister Location and even Pizza Sim, which is one of my favorite FNaF games. They kind of completely ruin his character by making this like what should be like worst outcome for him, basically, by making this like essentially a loss scenario. Like he lost, it turns it into like some like, oh, I wanted this the whole time, this is actually exactly what I wanted. And that just kind of undoes what makes it so good, you know? Like, it just feels weird to take that turn for this character that had such a great ending. And, like, just this weird sci-fi turn, like, especially with him being, like, obsessed with this immortality and trying to study this possession stuff so that he can understand it and use it to his advantage, just kind of undoes that whole part of his character arc. And also, not only does it do that, it completely ruins what makes supernatural stuff interesting in the first place, which is the mystery. The mystery of how the supernatural works is what makes supernatural stories so intriguing, because it's supernatural. It is beyond natural. It is like it's essentially unable to be understood, or at least that's the point, is that it's not supposed to be able to be understood. And then providing these sci-fi explanations to everything just kind of ruins the mystery, because it's like, oh, possession isn't, this mysterious thing. We actually know exactly how it works. It's from immense pain that leaves remnants of emotion behind that seeps into metal and causes that metal to have life and have thoughts. And that's weird, right? Like, that's weird to just give this possession such a blanket explanation like that, and just to know how that works for the most part. Like, we don't know the finer details, but we basically know how possession works in Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's weird to just know the, like, scientific parts of that for something that's not supposed to be scientific. And, oh god, I haven't even started talking about fucking Security Breach yet. And I also haven't touched the Mimic either, which is a sci-fi turn that I think has been better than others in the franchise. I don't know if I'll get into that during this rant, but like Sister Location especially just kind of marks this turn for the franchise that just doesn't work for me, and I think was such a bad play. And it's like, I don't get what the like plan was there. And I get that Scott past FNaF 3 was kind of just making stuff up as he went along. And I'm not trying to say that Scott is like a bad storyteller. It's just that the way that he's done the FNaF story has been in such a detrimental way to the actual story, because it feels like, the longer the story goes, the more ridiculous it gets, which has always been the case, let's be real, but it's like even worse with this like sci-fi turn. And it's like, I want to add that this is even bad with games that I like for the franchise. Like Pizza Sim is a good example of that, because Pizza Sim I think is a fucking phenomenal game. It's one of my favorites. But at the same time, it's got some major fucking weird story issues. Like the fact that these robots are just kind of walking around this city or this town or wherever the fuck the game. I struggle to just say Hurricane, Utah, because that's so far as I'm aware, only been the novel trilogy. But they've just been robots just walking around, fucking chilling. Fucking Ennard's been slithering about in the sewers. Circus Baby's been doing whatever the fuck. William, I don't even know how he didn't get picked up by cops or something, because he's literally a walking, rotting corpse. That's gotta smell so bad. And then Lefty is a fucking robot retrieval system? Like, what? And again, this is a game that I love, but is just so boggled down by the sci-fi stuff. It's so weird. Like, what? Why? Like, I really don't understand what the idea was there. Because then FNaF 6 doubles down hard on the immortality bullshit with William, and his freaking look. His design is terrible. That has nothing to do with the sci-fi. I just want to throw that in here as part of this rant. I fucking hate his design so much. It's so bad. Anyway, again, that's besides the point. It's like they make him this freaking evil mad scientist hell-bent on immortality, yet he still falls for such an obvious trap. It just, I feel like William's character, especially as the franchise continues to go on, just completely falls apart, like completely. Like, he doesn't make any sense from a character perspective. And again, that started with the novel trilogy, but it like started in the games with not Security Breach, Sister Location, and then fucking Help Wanted. Again, another game that I love, one of my favorites in the franchise. Like, I adore Help Wanted, but it's got this fucking odd sci-fi storyline in the background of like the game being infected with this virus that can infect brains. It's like when the game came out, we thought it was William. Now we interpret it to be the Mimic program in the thing, which, again, like, man, the Mimic's fucking weird. But like, even if we took the slightly paranormal aspect of saying it's William haunting the headset, it's still dumb. Like, that's still weird that he's haunting this virtual reality headset, especially when you consider the franchise started out as a dilapidated, haunted 80s location that, like, literally only has walking around animatronics, and that's, like, it. That's the thing, is that the animatronics walk around. Like, it's... I just fucking don't... I don't get what the play was there, especially with Help Wanted. Having, like, oh, the glitch trap is gonna freaking, it's a freaking brain worm. It's gonna eat your mind. It's gonna turn you into William. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Since when did possession possess people? Like, that's, like, or at least in FNaF, since when did possession possess people? Like, that's weird. We've seen people possess dead bodies, but that's different, That's not possessing a living person. There's no previous, like, examples of that happening, and this is, like, the fucking 8th game in the franchise. The 8th mainline game in the franchise. So it's got no historical precedent in the lore to happen, and all of a sudden here it is, just happening because I don't know, science fiction. We ran out of ideas. And then Security Breach. God, Security Breach. What a fucking mess. First and foremost, they are not animatronics at this point. They are just robots. Like, it, not even, no doubt about it. They, like they're not even like Terminator robots. They're like fucking, like, they're so emotive. They're like borderline fucking Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot. Fucking niche reference there. Is it really niche? I don't know. But like, they're not, like, they're basically just people who are robots, and there's no evidence that they're possessed. Like, uh, like, another thing that I want to fucking rant about. Security Breach very well might have zero supernatural stuff going on. It might all be sci-fi, and I think that's insane for a franchise that started out as supernatural horror and had almost no correlation to science fiction in the slightest, to just all of a sudden now, nope, no supernatural stuff going on here. It's all sci-fi. Gregory's a robot. I don't know if that's still the prevailing theory. I've kind of fallen out of modern FNaF theorizing because, man, it's so stupid. Everybody's a robot. But, like, the fact that Gregory being a robot is something that was even genuinely considered based on the evidence of the game is insane to me. Like, even if it isn't true. And if it is true, that's even more insane because what? Like, honestly, like, I give Sister Location a little too much credit because the sci-fi stuff really started with the novel trilogy. With Charlie specifically and fucking Elizabeth in that novel. Oh god, they're both such fucking bad characters. They so poorly written. I'm sorry, Scott. I love you, man, but like, damn, those characters are just so ass. They're so bad. Elizabeth is so fucking terrible in the Silver Eyes trilogy. Like, God. And Charlie being a robot the whole time is the dumbest plot twist in fiction history, probably. And then, sorry, I'm all over the place. This is a rant. I'm literally off the top of my head spewing out bullshit just to try and fucking stop being annoyed about this as much, to get it off my chest, I guess. But fucking, like, going back to Security Breach, like, everything is sci-fi in that game, and it completely ruins what makes the original game scary, because now nothing's scary. That's also just an issue with the, like, inkidification of horror, especially in the mascot horror scene. But, like, in Security Breach, it's the most prevalent in the franchise because it's so, like, in your face about it, and that's partially because of the sci-fi turn. Like, it's so science fiction and robot rooted. It's like, what is even the, like, where's the horror supposed to be? Like, I get that there's jump scares, but there's so bad jump scares, I don't even get what I'm supposed to be scared of. Like, you know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get what the plan was. I don't get what the idea was. I think it, like, flops enormously. Like, especially in Security Breach, because, like, I don't even have a lot to talk about because Security Breach is just so far removed from the rest of the franchise, it doesn't even make sense. Like, it's like fucking, like, Jason X. Like, I think that's Jason X, the one where he's in space. I think it's Jason X. But it's like, fucking, what? Like, why did we jump to the shark so long ago? How are we continuously jumping the shark? Like, Sister Location was already such a jumping of the shark. How did we somehow jump it again with Security Breach? My, like, biggest hope for the future of the franchise is that we kind of bring it back to less sci-fi focused horror, and sadly it seems like that's not gonna happen because it seems like they're doubling down 100% on the Mimic being the main antagonist from now on. and it's not even that I hate the Mimic. I really don't. I think the Mimic is the best thing to come out of the sci-fi. But like even then, I just kind of like from a basic like what it is point, I don't like the Mimic. It's not, again, it's not that I don't like the Mimic. It's just the basic idea of the Mimic I don't like in a franchise that's so supernatural horror based. Having the main antagonist just be a robot that is a program is so weird. Especially considering that the robot was built in like the 70s, that makes extra no sense, but like let's be real, the technological advancement of the franchise never really did make sense post FNaF sister location. And like I just kind of want to go back to the like lower, not even just like the specific like five children possession that, you know, the first fucking 4 games had, or like the first 3 games I guess had. But just going back to like a more lower stakes, more grounded is probably not the right word to use, but it's honestly the only word I can think of, to a more like grounded story that isn't so set in like the freaking like mind of fucking like Leonardo da Vinci if you gave him crack cocaine and sent him to the year like 2400 or something. Like I just kind of wish it was like back to not even just this is probably partially a nostalgia thing, but like I kind of want to go back to FNaF 1. Not even just like, well, you know, I can always just play FNaF 1. Hell, I had to do that for the footage for this video, but like go back to FNaF 1 in like theme, you know, like a lower stakes. It doesn't even have to be a sit and survive, but like a lower stakes, smaller scale, just haunting story. Set in the like honestly, it doesn't even have to be set in the same like building. It doesn't have to be set in Freddy Fazbear's. It doesn't have to be set with the same characters. Just in the same world with the same like ideas and world building that the games had back with the first 3. Like not everything has to be revolved around William Afton, which is something the franchise tends to do a lot, is make everything tie back to William somehow. It's like, well, why can't it just be another Freddy's location that, you know, some other tragedies happened at because Freddy's is a super shady company? Like, Fazbear Entertainment is so shady. Like, they do so much, like, fucked up shit just on their own without William's influence that there's so many more stories that could be told, like, outside of William's side of the world. Like, maybe Fazbear Entertainment covered something up that led to a possession in a different restaurant or something. Or, like, you know, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a writer, so I don't, like, know what the story should necessarily be. But I just really wish FNaF never took this sci-fi turn. I kind of wish we kept it supernatural. And, like, I mainly blame Sister Location for that, but it, like, even going back to the Silver Eyes, I kind of wish it never did that turn. And, again, this is a lot of nostalgia speaking. I just think the franchise would have been better off had we stayed more... Again, I struggle to use the word grounded, but, like, I can't think of a better one. So I just kind of wish the franchise stayed more grounded. Anyways, I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop fucking rambling on for, Jesus Christ, almost 25 minutes at this point. I'll free you guys from my painful voice. All right, peace out.